And
That
so,
Very big parade all the time there.
yeah,
Did we get any rain Saturday week left through a Kyle at 1 o'clock?
Rain goes every day.
It was looking like bad stuff was coming.
I got a half an inch of rain in my house in 15 minutes, a little longer.
do they? Yeah, when it came in.
It was half an inch.
Yeah.
There was water over the road on Cold Road. The second bridge in
Yeah,
front of that subdivision,
Close that out here for a while.
it may have been closed before I got there, but it was that deep when I drove through it.
Wow.
Don't know anybody who can trench across a driveway, because talking today, I need to get a trench drain across, and my garage it's flooded inward 9.5 feet.
In your garage,
Into my garage,
9.5 feet.
9.5 feet.
Wimberley Plumbing will do it, I'll bet.
Wimberley Plumbing,
Yeah, you have to go find the van and get the phone numbers if they don't exist on the internet. I actually took a picture of the van one time in case I ever need to call.
I've got the number. You want the number?
Sure.
Their phone number isn't even on Google. You cannot. I defy you to find their phone number.
It's kind of word of mouth.
Yeah, and don't bother calling me, by the way, because no one will ever answer the telephone.
No, they're-
Under any circumstance.
But they're from,
for real,
That's my experience with Wimberley Plumbing. However they do great work.
if you can get it.
The trick is to locate them.
Because if I was brave enough to rent a cement cutter and cut my own driveway, I'd do it myself.
I had to have one put in my house. Well, there was one put in my house right before I moved into it because of that exact issue.
I have because I've gone through 2 quick dams now, and they're $40 a piece. But, once they get wet and then they sit in the sun, the little crystalline thing.
Oh, really?
Hey,
deteriorate.
Rogers.
Hmm.
I can't read that thing. Read that thing.
Yeah, just charges in my backyard.
512-626-9076.
Thank you. And one guy told me.
I don't want anybody to accuse you.
He likes to sit on
Oh,
the.
do it.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody thinking,
No.
you know.
Mr. Hambrick,
Yep.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Start the
Council.
video right now. All right, off we go.
Meetings in order, Special Platinum Road meeting June 8th, 2023 at 4:30 PM. Secretary, can you please call the roll?
Yes. Chairperson Cody Evans,
Here.
Vice Chair Fleming,
Yes, here.
panelist Joe Bloom is absent, panelist Jack Bose,
Here.
panelist Rogers Hope.
Here.
Thank you.
Do we have any public comments?
No.
No public comments?
None.
The next agenda item is reports from officers and council liaisons. Right now, we will take a report from Platinum Roads panel liaison, council member Linnea Bailey. Hi, Linnea.
Hi, we have nothing new to report from the last time, we're just.
You're just waiting on us?
Yes.
All right, now, do you have a report in?
I just have a little update, kind of giving you a preview of what's to come. Once this RFP gets out, we have, I've been contacting some engineers, and they are going to be looking at a road study for the city about calming measures. And so they're gonna look and see where we might need some traffic calming measures and what type of devices we might want to put down. And so that will come to here for y'all to look at. Once the roads are paved, then we can look at implementing and putting down striping and the road calming measures. So, that's coming here down the road, but we're working on that now.
Road calming measure like speed bumps.
Correct. Correct.
Now, who's doing that? The engineering firm?
Yes,
Are they gonna get any traffic engineers involved?
correct. Yes,
They are.
yes.
Because, engineering firm, those kind of guys.
No, it's traffic people where they're gonna probably count traffic on the roads here on 4 or 5 major arteries.
I'm not talking about that, Joe. I'm talking about, when you start putting these common devices, a traffic guy, a traffic engineer, somebody like that really knows about how these things are effective or how they're not effective. You can really get in a bind. The other thing is, we don't want to make the citizens angry. I mean, you can put common devices in that will anger citizens. Now, now you got a worse situation than a guy that's going 5 miles an hour on speed limit. So what I'm saying, the traffic engineer should have the background that you can say, okay, here's the experience on some of these things. Here's the do's and don'ts. That's what I'm trying to get. Is that?
Yes.
All right.
And then it's gonna come to you, and you can grill them and talk to them and ask them why they put certain thing here and certain thing there, and why you want this type of bump here instead of that bump, or why do you want rumble strips, or it wouldn't be rumble strips, but whatever it may be.
So the other one is,
But it's actually people that does traffic. Plus two, with drainage, you have to be careful with, putting up a speed calming device somewhere, because it might affect the drainage, pushing it one way or the other.
yeah, now the other thing is, this traffic guy with law enforcement. Do we really have a traffic problem? Now, I'm throwing that out, because, that's, some people say we got a terrible one, when some people say we don't have one. But we need that kind of input. I would like a law enforcement officer stand up before here and say, hey, based on the experience they have in cities, do we really have a speed problem?
We can give them the
Okay.
traffic reports.
I think that we need that kind of intelligence before we start moving out, putting trees in the roads and, and pump backs on the
We can
streets.
get,
and all
if you want that as a committee, I'll get the officer that, patrols our streets. Officer Elstead.
Yeah.
Elstead, he can come in here and talk to you. He'll tell you what he sees about people running stop signs.
that. That's not what I'm talking about a law enforcement officer with experience on speeds and cities. Do we?
That's what he does.
Yeah.
Do
That
we
is
really
exactly-
have a problem? That's what I'm trying to get. I would like the officer to say, based on the experience, we do have speeders, but generally, we don't really have a speeding problem. Or he may say, yep, we do have a speeding problem. That's that's the
Yeah.
intelligence I like to get.
And we just really ask him, but he would be the one that could tell you, because he's here. He's the only one
Yeah.
that really, patrols our streets.
That's
Good questions.
And he patrols it twice a week. So he's out here 8 times a week,
And I
or
like
8 times a
to,
month.
and I like to hear from a traffic engineer based on
Oh, yeah,
his
no,
experience, in cities of this nature. Do we have a problem or what? That's intelligence we have to have.
Yeah, I assume this engineer is gonna put out devices on the road to count traffic, count speed,
yes.
because I think when they put a series of those down, it not only records the number of vehicles, but also records the speed they're traveling at.
Yeah, I haven't got the proposal yet, so, but from what
The radar machines do that. Well, the data you guys have collected for 4 years, is this stuff going in a black hole?
no,
What's
but
wrong?
we're limited on where we can put those speed limit signs.
They've been all over the city.
No, they haven't. They've been in certain places that we had, places to put them. There's some areas in the city that we know that people speed, but we can't put the big speed signs in that location.
What street you talking?
Well, we've done, you saw it used to be up here, by City Hall. Right now it's over here on Augusta Lane.
No, I'm saying, what streets you say we can't use these things on?
Well, you're gonna want to get, let me see. Perfetta, when was it on Brick Mode?
A few weeks ago.
A few weeks ago? Okay, it was here, it's down there now. But, prime example, Brook Hollow and Augusta, where there's gonna be 2 stop signs right there, okay? You can't put a speed thing there.
People won't let you on that lot.
There's no room.
We need 5 feet of clearance. The thing is 5 feet wide.
And so that's the thing. It is a lot easier to put you down a little thingy and and plus 2, I'm not a road engineer. We're gonna get people in here that do this daily basis and that know what they're doing and talking about, and they're gonna collect the data.
Good.
Cause I can tell you the data, it ain't gonna mean nothing.
Well,
I
why,
can tell you how many cars are speeding, how many cars go down the road, but I can't can't tell you anything.
Why,
And so that's why we're paying somebody to do this professionally and doing it right.
I don't have a problem with it. Why don't we just put the radar machines in storage then? We're not using.
Because it's calming measures. It's traffic calming. When people driving up and you can argue it.
I pay attention, I pay
I'm
attention
just-
to them.
I'm here just to tell you. this is-
Yeah, from that standpoint, when you know they're there, I better slow down.
Or you see it
Yeah.
30 miles an hour flashing, okay.
Okay,
That's the reason, that they're not there to count traffic. I mean, it's an anecdotal thing that we use just to, produce some
well, you sit
data.
there and watch, I know, you sit there and watch the license pads on these cars going by, you can do that if you want to.
Yeah, you can do that. I don't have time to do that. You wanna volunteer?
No.
Okay.
No, okay,
But no, that's what's coming down.
what you're saying, they're really using for a common device as
Correct.
opposed to getting any intelligent data.
Correct.
Good,
I'm sure the professionals use a lot better devices than a radar machine
gotcha.
on the side of the road.
All right, good.
That's all I have.
One other.
Yeah.
Were you gonna mention about the budgeting?
Oh, yes, ma'am, I am so sorry. It is time for budget and we are starting budget workshops with, council. So one thing that, we would like to maybe do on the 15th is talk a little bit about budgeting in the roads. Maybe come up with some parameters that, Councilmember, Bailey could bring to council to talk about the roads, about maybe a street fund or, some dollar amounts or kind of how you envision that. So she can take that to council and when we have our budget workshop, we can hopefully allocate some money to the roads.
So there's a council meeting on the 14th, we have a meeting on the 15th.
Correct.
When are we supposed, when are we supposed to have something put together to recommend to council?
Not right away.
Not right away, because, we're still, let's see, in July, we probably we're gonna have to have some numbers.
Okay.
I think we can.
I don't think we can pull anything out of thin air, so we're gonna need, what we're working with, what we're gonna need some parameters for us to put something together like that.
Yeah, and I'll work with Kate and we have some parameters from some old documents.
You know how we keep hearing, let's don't do more and more reports, because we've got a couple of really good reports. The Rogers, engineering report is comprehensive and streets haven't changed much. And he shows, a projection of repair, maintenance, also the quadrant reports. So we've got those for a base to look at.
Yeah, and I'll contact, the road people, see kind of what they say.
Who are
But,
the road people?
Kate Freeze, they kind of, they might know some stuff, but we'll gather some data for you. We'll try to get it out to you. Maybe we can talk a little bit on it on the 15th. If y'all are meeting again, correct?
Mhm.
Yes,
And
sir.
then the one in July, kind of need if we can get some stuff nailed down, or at least something for, Councilmember Bailey to have.
I just didn't want us not to have a budget. We're focused on the roads, but
Yeah, we've talked about budgeting for road maintenance all along as part of this, and that is something that needs to be included in the budget.
And it's never happened before, so really it's kind of, a little bit, it's a shot in the dark.
Mhm.
So, but it's better to have a little bit in there than none at all.
Well, I thought there was always a line item in our budget, city budget. Hasn't been one?
No,
well, for
now,
I thought there was.
several years, there was $80,000, but it just rolled forward. It wasn't utilized. So,
whatever year that is budgeted, $80,000.
that was 2014, 15, and 16.
Okay,
Another thing we need to talk, we're probably gonna need engineering input, and we'll need to get we'll need to look into getting a vendor from the city to use for road maintenance. That would be
yeah, we need
my
a,
expectation.
service, contract service agreement
Mhm.
where, it's up to whatever, so we don't have to go get a bid every time we need road maintenance. We can just call them up and say, hey, go out there to Augusta Drive, you need to fix that.
And somebody besides that person providing that service needs to make the determination on it. Here's also, which is an open-ended, it's open checkbook.
Correct. Yeah, somebody will have to, say, hey, this needs to be fixed, and then we'll get whoever the service contract with whoever, to, hey, this is where you need to fix. Is
Okay.
that what you're saying?
Yeah, we need,
Yeah.
we need reports and data to chew on that, and we need to distribute it to all the members of the panel so that we can show up informed.
Well, it seems to me too that our engineer, would be able to give us some really good, information, because this is a 1 in 1,000 deal where we're doing all the streets in town at one time. We have a baseline that everybody can agree on, and there should be warranties. And then some kind of idea on what kind of maintenance percentage we should have, okay.
Right, it
It's
should,
not
you know,
doing piecemeal, it's all gonna be a duck soup for a good engineer.
we will have, if we can come up with some numbers and it fits into the budget, we'll have a separate, street maintenance fund.
Mhm.
And, you know, the first couple of years, we should be putting into that
That's right.
account and not use it.
Yeah.
But, you know, we may have to use some of that for the street calming,
Mm.
you know, or something like that. But yes, the majority of it is for probably 5 years down the road before you start really getting into it.
And part of that should be a contingency fund, so if we have, hopefully it never happens again, but when the town freezes solid for 5 days, again, and it starts wrecking the streets, the edges start rattling, we need to have money to head that off in the past, so the streets fall apart.
Correct.
Changing subject, but I read, saw the video on the last week's meeting about the 500K grant that we're getting.
Yeah.
Falling from the sky. Is the city gonna notify all the citizens over in Fairview that, hey, they're not gonna be part of this,
Deerfield,
operation? Deerfield,
I believe, I mean, I had no plans to, but,
Can we make the work contiguous with the work that we're doing with bond funds?
unfortunately, no, because we won't hear back from, them, the grant, the, CDBG grant until November or December, whether we even got it, and we'll be done with our roads by then.
Well, I
now, one
already
thing-
say public. That's
Yeah,
right.
well, one thing, you know, they.
Nobody cares about the people in the apartments, nobody cares about people in duplexes.
Yeah, I know.
Nobody cares.
It was very disappointing because I thought that it would happen before the roads. And then, you know, if we didn't get it, we could just put it into the bond package. Unfortunately, the grant, proceeds and the grant process is a lot slower than we are.
Well,
You all are just too good, you all are just too fast.
yeah, but seriously, but seriously, the city needs to know.
How would you suggest, to notify you that?
I would do it.
Town hall?
Probably tell all.
Yeah, otherwise they're gonna come unglued.
Well, you know, we talked to them.
Especially they see all this paving going over and say, well, you missed us.
Well, I'll look at doing some type of meeting for the people on Deerfield, have them come in, we'll describe the grant, what we're waiting for, and,
Well, look, you know, why don't you just send a letter out to each of the residents?
we can do that,
Well, that's your business, how to do that, but they need to know they're not part of this activity.
Okay, we could, I mean, yeah, Linnea, I think that would need to come from council.
Okay.
If you want to report, I think that'd be one good thing to report to council. Just to make sure that they have their buy-in, but I'd be glad to send I think there's probably
That's a good point.
50 or so places over there that would, but I know they have come in and talked to us about their road because of the potholes.
It's horrible.
And, you know, I have said, hey, we're working on getting the grant, but I don't mind sending out a letter at all if council wants to notify them that way, or however we need to notify them. We'll try to get the
You
word out.
guys figure that out, but they need to be notified before this RFP hits the street.
Okay.
Because the word will get out, and that's the first thing they can hear.
Oh, yeah, I know.
But
That road is the worst one probably in the whole city.
what might be a good point to mention also is that it looks like all goes well, it's $500,000 that will include some drainage, some far more sophisticated repair than the rest of the city, because that's only a third of a mile.
Right there.
And generally, we're only allocating, what, 300,000 per mile?
Yeah, but yes, on Deerfield, there is some drainage
So-
that will be happening.
That ought to be complete mill, new base material. And
It is.
3 inches of HMAC all the way down the street.
Throw that whole road away and just start over.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there is some drainage issues on there. Not all of them will be fixed, some of them will be fixed.
But
But we'll get the word out.
that 500K, is only dedicated to that street.
Correct.
You can't jerk it, and put somewhere else.
Correct.
So we only spend 300, we gotta get 200.
No, it's already, that money's already spent, because we had to get bids before, to send it to the grant. We had to get with engineers and companies to actually bid on that road, putting it
You been
down.
doing this?
Yes,
Okay. So this bypassed the.
It's found money.
yes, it's $500,000,
It's found money.
Oh, I'm not arguing about that, but.
No, I-
$500,000 of free money to do like.
Oh, the files is bypass the roads, I guess. We're not part of that.
It started way before I was here.
Huh?
It started way before I was here.
Transparency, where in the hell? Never mind. Forget it.
We will work on notifying those residents, yes, they
Yeah, I
need to,
think we
they need to know, and we don't, I don't mind,
That.
they need to know, and I don't mind telling them or talking to them, so, yeah, I mean. I surely don't want them to feel like they're left out, because actually they'll probably get a better road than some other places, just because they're out there to work on some of the drainage issues.
Well, put
Although they
out
have to wait a little longer, so it's not gonna give it thing.
put
I
out
want,
that-
I want everybody to know that we have a hard stop at 5:15.
25 minutes.
So, we have Parks meeting at 5:30. Okay. Is there anything else from the
No.
manager? Next item is new business. Discuss and take possible action on 2023 Wood Creek Roads Project RFP. I'll open the floor for any comments from anybody else on the panel. I don't have any comments.
None here.
Not here.
I'll make a motion that we recommend to the council the release of the, roads RFP.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. See Secretary, you take a vote.
Chair Abney,
Yes.
Vice Chair Fleming,
Yes.
Alice Bode,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Motion passes. We don't have any other new business. Do we have any announcements? Anybody have anything else they want to discuss?
Housekeeping. I understood last time that Jill had resigned, but
Yes.
she was in the roll call vote. So is she officially resigned?
I forgot to note it. on-
Okay, good. I just.
And we got anybody else would like to send an application, please do. Unfortunately, won't be on the 14th, just because of the extended list of priorities and long agenda items that we have. But it will be on the workshop on the 20th for, accepting her resignation by council and, hopefully nominating, another member on there. So they will be on the July committee.
Will it be in time to review the,
Yes,
bids?
yes,
So with this recommendation today, when's council going to review the RFP?
on the 14th,
And that's when they're going to vote yea or nay?
hopefully, yes. I don't see them not voting nowhere yes, or I don't see them not voting yes, but it will be in front of them.
Is that your understanding?
Yes. That's what everybody's focused for. So then we get that RFP out.
Good.
But, progress on making some of those corrections?
Yes, they are, it's still, a lot of it's still
Yeah,
work in
okay.
progress, but yes, they are. I talked to, Ryan yesterday at K Freeze. Oh, and also on the 14th, Jeremiah, or Jeremy,
Jeremiah.
Jeremiah will be at the council on, Wednesday for any council members. I thought that he was probably, the most, knowledgeable. And so Linnea, have fun. You can, you know.
Eeyore.
But he will be there to ask, city council questions in case they have any. And then another, kind of housekeeping. Do you want to, do your recommendation or to get a report, or do you want us just, or do you want to come to council?
I can't, I'm out of town.
Okay, then we will present your recommendation through, Councilman Bailey, but we will get that written, report that you all are going to,
I'll do it tomorrow.
Chairman Abbott is going to do, and then that will be your.
I'll send it to you, give me editorial comments, I'll get it right back to you. I want to get it done tomorrow and I'll think about it this
I'll
weekend.
be in the office.
Okay, I'm clear my desk tomorrow.
Motion to dismiss.
Dismiss.
Seconded? Do we need a vote to adjourn?
No.
Everybody ready to go?
Right.
Meeting adjourned.
Get that out.
45 minutes.